Hello again, and it's time for another project. Today we're going to route out this Yorkshire Rose template. It's only 6 inches by 6 inches, and that's basically because the fencing wood I do, nice cheap wood, is only 6 inches wide. If it had been 7 inches, we would have gone for a 7-inch rose. Now the idea today is literally we will cut this out with a scroll saw, then that's it for the scroll saw, and all the rest will be done with the router and our little CNC bits. First of all, get your template. I stick it on with a bit of painter's tape, put your carbon paper underneath, and literally draw around that. If this was a complete scroll saw project, you could glue that straight to the wood on top of your painter's tape. But as we're going to be routing all this out, I've tried it before and I just cannot route over the paper. So for me, drawing on is the only way to do it. And there we've got it. As you can see, it literally just fits in to our piece of wood there. Now the idea today, this will be on 5 levels. We'll start off with the highest point, be the centre of the rose, and we'll route round that and we'll lower it down to the petal. We'll route in there, lower it down to the green leaf, like on there. And then we'll lower it down again and lower it down again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 levels, just to make it more than just cutting it out and painting it green and white with a dab of yellow in the middle. What I've done myself on this one, I've made a bit of a jig, a pattern thing, don't know what you want to call it, and I've numbered it 1 to 4. There's actually 4 cuts in this. 1, 2, 3, 4. To give us out 5 levels. It would be 6 levels if you're leaving the backing on, but remember we're cutting this one out. And the idea is with our CNC bits, which I'm going to use this to route out as always. I do like these. They do come with a small shaft on them, so you will need what they call a collet, and that's literally just a tube like that. A 6.35mm collet, 1/4 inch, and you slot your CNC bit inside, 3.175mm, or the same size as a Dremel is that. So you could put that into a Dremel if you have one of the Dremel router attachments, and that will fit into your router no problem. And the idea is to, once it's in the router, we will set it to this first mark here, and that will be our first depth, and we'll go around that circle because it's the lowest point. Once we've done that, we'll set it to our second depth, so we're going a little bit deeper, and we'll go inside these triangle sections here, and then we'll set it to the third depth. So remember, we're going deeper again. Now it's getting quite deep, is that could be a struggle for these little CNC bits, and we'll literally go all the way around there, and then the final one obviously right down there. We might have to do that in a couple of goes because that is quite deep, is that one, to be honest. And that will be the final cut here, like so. Once we've done all our cutting with the CNC bit, we can pop on one of these straight metric bits, that's quite chunky, is that one, and we'll skim off the first section. I'll have to put a milling bit on it. I might even do those middle pieces there, the small green bits, with the CNC bit. We'll play that bit here, and then we'll pop it back on again and do the big ones. And we might get so much of this, but obviously it's going to be tight in the triangle bit, if you know what I mean. The other ways, you can just route this out as you go along if you want to. The reason why I cut it out first is when we come to skim off these, we can just come off the top. It doesn't matter. This is all waste, is the surround bit. Same with these bits, so we don't have to play too clever and try and route this out in a triangle. We can just skim straight off the top there. Because remember, we've already cut this out with the CNC bit. Okay, I hope it all makes sense as we go along. Let's pop in our little CNC bit. Set it to our first depth. Remember, the smallest one, number 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, as you can see. And then we'll go around the first one, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Bear with me. We'll cut it out first on the scroll saw. Right, we've cut all the way around that with the scroll saw. We don't need that anymore, so we've put that away. We need to keep hold of this, just to give us a bit more room for our router to run on. I've only got a small router on mine, router head. So the more space you can leave to run on, the better. When we start removing all these petals and intersections, the only bit we'll have is the outer framework and that central piece. All this will be took away. So we'll just span it across with enough room with this to go across either way. If you have an even smaller base, like a trim router or palm router, get yourself a piece of wood like that, and you can also put that to one side of the same level, and you can also use that to rest on, like so. You get the general idea. Right, we set our CNC bit inside the router. We've got our little gauge thing, 1 to 4, remember. So that's more or less like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, all the different cuts as we're going down. And that will be the shape of the rose once we're finished at the end, hopefully. So for the first circle, number 1, remember, we've got our bit in the router. We use our little gauge like so. I don't know if you can see that. That more or less is just set for the number 1. Then when we do that, we'll go deeper onto number 2, 3 and 4, like so. Right, let's cut this first one out. Right, we got around that one, no problem. That will be the easiest one, because it will be the shallowest one. Now we'll set our CNC bit again to number 2 this time. You can just see there. That just slides there where number 2 is. And we'll do the inner bits of these green petals. We'll do that next. Right, we've gone around with the number 2. So far, so good. Now, it's looking fairly deep. But remember, we've got to skim off this. So this will get lowered. We should take that further down. And then we've got to skim all this off. So it looks a bit dramatic at the moment with them thicknesses. If you can see right inside there. Now, that's going to get harder still with this next one. So now we've got to go around this outer one. Now, I've left them triangles on there because if I was to roll them out, it's just going to be a bit awkward to go around the line with number 3, as we say. So we'll set the gauge to the next one, number 3, which is down there. So you can just see it, number 3 there. And then we've got the last one, which is deeper still. I think that number 4 is going to be quite deep, but we'll look at that. Right, number 3. Let's start cutting around this one again. Right then, I didn't show you number 4. 4, 3, 2, 1. Once you've seen it, I think you get the general idea. So that's our shape at this moment in time. So now all we've got to do is start clearing all this out. It looks a bit messy and all, but at the moment, once we start removing things, hopefully it'll start taking shape. So now I'm just going to throw on this straight imperial bit. And it's got 2 blades on. And we'll start skimming off the top bit now. Set it to the depth of number 1. Was it 1 or 2? Yeah, number 1. Set it to that one. And we'll skim off this. Then we'll set it to number 2. And that will be for those triangles. Number 3 for the leaves. Number 4, the deepest one, which I'll left to do in a couple of sections because you can see how deep that is. That's ridiculous. For the end triangles. And that should take us right down to there. All being well. Okay, let's start clearing this one off. Right, I've skimmed over all that eventually. Normally I would do it in sections, but I'm just trying to make it easier for you guys to try and understand what I'm doing here. Right, you can see from that, that's our finished centre. We're done with that. We've done our second or first layer of rose petals. There's our next depth down there. That'll be number 3 on our list, if you can see. Imagine that being like that. So number 3 lines up with that. So now we'll put on a small mill end bit. You could even use your CNC bit again. And we're literally just going to take out that triangle on all 5 of them. So remove them next. And then we'll go down again to that level in there. So hard to see with the dust. And then remove this outer petal. And then we're right down to the last bit there for the final petal. It'll all come together at the end. Right, I don't know if you can see from that. We're getting the general shape we're going for. It's very, very rough at this moment in time. But we will go around with our little mill end bits. And we'll sort it all out. And I apologise for the lighting. It's quite dark today. It's raining outside. I'm having to use the flash on this mobile phone that I film on. And it's really not working out as good for this video. But anyway, roughly, we've got this to lower down. These green leaves at the end, so they will be lower than that, and then we'll go around with a mill end bit and really cut these in, just but tidy it all up, but you can see what we're going for in a fashion. Right, we've gone round, we've played with this long enough. We can remove the outer, that's done with now, that's basically scrap. And there is our basic shape of a rose, or the Yorkshire Rose, should we say. Now it is in 5 levels, as you can remember. There's 1, down to the first set of petals 2, down to those green leaves 3, down to the second set of petals 4, and down to that one 5. So now all we need to do is general tidy up with a Dremel with some kind of sanding burr on. Right, that's as far as I'm prepared to go as regards to sanding down and what have you. You can see the shape we've gone for. I've sanded these down just slightly. You could work on this for another good hour, but this is not a carving project. It's just a simple, basic Yorkshire Rose that I can put on the side of my shed with the rest of my little projects. So you can see what we've gone for. We've more or less got it there now. So as regards to painting, painter's touch is always for me. Nice white, the green, and the dab of bright yellow in the centre. Okay, I'll go off and paint this now. Right, this little project is finished. Got a nice shine on it because we sprayed some of our crystal clear sealant on. Just a few coats of that. Didn't really need it, but just gives it a little shine and might just help it protection wise for a little bit longer. Not the best painting in the world. I'm not too bothered about that. It's going to throw it on the side of my shed, so I've got no concerns. You can see the 5 levels there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So enough work involved for what it is. 6 inches by 6 inches Yorkshire Rose on fencing wood. Just a little fun project. Thank you very much for watching.